Hey guys, let's check out some Space Ace, alright? After the success of Dragon's Lair in the arcades, Don Bluth went on to make this arcade classic. Now it never became as popular as Dragon's Lair, and in fact I never even saw it in the arcades over here. But then again, I'm not really a fan of these kind of games as I generally suck at them. It was still pretty successful nonetheless, and thus it got treated to numerous ports to pretty much every system out there, and just like Dragon's Lair, new ports are still made to this day. Seeing how Dragon's Lair got a really good port on the CDI, it's a no-brainer that Space Ace did too. But is it just as good of a port? Well, let's find out. It already manages to get one strike against it with that uninspired cover art. It's like they weren't even trying. I mean, it's just a bunch of screenshots. Even the title is a screenshot taken straight from the game. Oh well, here's Mr. Announcer Guy to give us an intro to the game so I don't have to anymore. Yeah, I'm lazy like that.
Space Ace, defender of justice, truth, and the planet Earth. Ace is being attacked by the evil Commander Borf.
Hold your fire! Who is that creep?
Borf!
Earthlings must surrender to me.
No way, Borf, old buddy.
Oh!
Ah! I've been hit!
By the Infanto Ray.
Earthlings must surrender to me.
Struggle with Dexter to regain his manhood. Destroy the Infanto Ray. Defeat the evil Borf.
Hey, Borf! Come on, Kimberly, let's go. I've been hit.
Be valiant, Space Warrior. The fate of Earth is in your hands.
So just as with Dragon's Lair, the object of the game is to give the right button inputs at the right time. Otherwise you'll cut the cartoon short by dying. You get 3 lives to complete the game, and it's a real trail and error fest until the end. You will die a lot, and in comparison to Dragon's Lair, I actually didn't like the death scenes in this one too much. I mean, this guy has a bit too much fun in losing a life if you ask me. I'm annoyed as it is that I have to do the level, or worse the whole game, over and he's just giggling it up. Talk about adding insult to injury, jeez. There are no continue points, so if you're out of lives you'll have to start over from scratch. Where in Dragon's Lair you only had a few rooms that were set at certain points and the others were thrown at you at random, Space Ace has a fully linear path through the levels, although all but the first and last levels can be mirrored to give it some randomness. This difference from Dragon's Lair can be either a good or a bad thing. At one end it's much easier to get further every time as you always have to do the same things. On the other side, if you just suck at the game, like most people, then with Dragon's Lair you at least get to see a couple of different scenes. It really comes down to taste what you like best. Personally, I like to know what's coming next, but I have to admit that Dragon's Lair has a bit more replay value with its randomness. What's kinda weird is that you have a couple of levels with 2 exits, however they always go to the same next level. It just looks like multiple paths were planned at some point but eventually dropped. A shame really, would have been a nice feature I think. Space Ace does try to offer some replay value and do things a bit differently though. Almost every level has 2 ways to beat it, either by staying geeky Dexter or by energizing into Ace. Overall the Dexter path is a lot easier with fewer commands. But Ace's path usually looks a lot cooler as he's more of a hero after all, and a trigger happy one at that. You are also awarded extra lives if you complete enough levels. You get an extra one for either 3 Dexter levels or 2 Ace levels you complete. So the harder path is more rewarding. What I don't understand though is that the game becomes harder when you energize. Shouldn't being an experienced hero make life easier instead? It's also weird that it's easy to energize as it's always the action button, but staying as Dexter and thus choosing for the easy path means you have to find out what direction to go instead. All in all, it does add something extra to the game and I really like it, but the way it's presented, it just makes little sense to me. Once you're out of lives, you get to input your name for the high score table. I need to rectify my comment during my review for Dragon's Lair that it's totally pointless. I mean it still is, don't worry, who cares about high scores after all, but the machine does save it. Mine was just faulty, a common problem with CDI players these days unfortunately. The presentation is top notch, the visuals are excellent because of the CDI's MPEG capabilities and the audio sounds fine too. I did notice they cut a few things out like small bits of audio and different difficulties, but nothing that you'll really miss though. The visual cues in this game are also much better and more plentiful as in Dragon's Lair. although on the ace routes they do tend to trick you now and then. Overall, I do like this game more than Dragon's Lair, as the animations are smoother and the voices add some personality to the whole thing. What really surprised me is how fluid this game plays. Coming from Lost Eden from my previous review, which really suffered from long CD access times, it's really great to play this game and discover that it doesn't need to take that long. The gameplay is very fluid and the scenes play out without loading once. Very nice. The only downtime is...
Oh wow, I've been hit.
Yeah, those annoying score displays in front of every level and after you lose a life. Well, at least the sounds aren't as obnoxious as the ones in Dragon's Lair. Even though these are really not my kind of games, I think the CDI version is an excellent port. Was it the best one at the time? I really don't have a clue. There were so many. But as an added bonus, let's take a quick look at the 3DO version, which I also happen to have. At least I put some effort into the cover of this one. Right off the bat, it's pretty clear that the image quality is quite a step backwards. I'm not sure if you can see it clearly in this video, but the resolution is smaller, adding a black border on the outsides. The picture is also kinda grainy and the frame rate seems to be a bit lower. On the other hand, those small bits that were cut from the CDI version seem to be in this one, except for the difficulty selection. Another thing that the CDI version didn't have but this one does are the audio cues for the command inputs. I personally find them pretty annoying. I can see them being of some use in the arcade version where you want to show off, but for a home conversion I like it that they are removed. The timing in this version is really messed up too. It looks like you have to push the button way too early. I mean, look here, look where his ship is. That is the last frame before it counts it as too late, you suck. That's just bullshit. It gives you less than a second to react and it's like that to the entire game. Luckily there is a continue feature in this version, but I don't have the patience to go through it. It's so frustrating that you know the moves, but as soon as the visual key lights up you're dead. Oh, and some visual keys have been removed completely too. Yeah, that sounds fair, as 3DO developers. So yeah, if you have a choice between the CDI and 3DO version, definitely go for the CDI one. Thank God that version has a cheat menu to go directly to any level, so that you have sort of a continue feature on that too. Otherwise, there's also the new Blu-ray version out of Space Ace, just like Dragon's Lair. If you're interested in either, then that's the way to go now, since those are loaded with sweet extra features that actually make buying them worth it. Well, that's all for this time. Thank you all for watching again, and until next time, take care!